What's going on, Facebook? Mike Perry here. We're going to go over the basics of the double kettlebell clean. Now, there are some prerequisites to this, and I would argue that having a solid double kettlebell deadlift and having a solid double kettlebell swing are fantastic prerequisites to doing the double clean. Understanding the rack position is huge because it's going to allow you to do double kettlebell front squats, rack carries. You have tons of variations that you can do with both of those kettlebells in the rack position. So what we're going to go over today is going to teach you the basics of it, okay? Obviously, you're not going to get it all at once, but we're just going to give you some basic techniques and some components to go over when it comes to the double clean. So we're going to step back and we're going to just kind of go through the basics. If you guys have any questions, leave some comments and I will go through a little bit later. So as I mentioned, you got to have the deadlift down. You should hopefully have the double kettlebell swing down. If not, that's okay. We can try to give you the basics of this today. One of the biggest issues we see with this position is people want to do double kettlebell front squats. They want to do, lunges, reverse lunges, rack carries, but they can't get the kettlebell up. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over the dead clean. And the dead clean is going to allow us to kind of tame that arc. Now, when we perform the dead clean, the kettlebells are really going to come almost straight up and they're going to come very, very tight to our body. The reason why we do that is we don't want to swing the kettlebells all the way away from us and then kind of rope them back into us. We want to shorten that curve and make sure that the kettlebell is kind of scraping up our body. So the dead clean is a fantastic way to do that. So we're just going to set up, kettlebells are going to be directly underneath us. What we're going to do here is thumbs are going to be pointed in. We're going to pop the hips up, elbows are going to be glued, and then we're going to basically come inward. So if you see this rotation, thumbs down, elbows connected, and then thumbs up. Thumbs down and thumbs up. If you know anything about kettlebell training, the hips do the work, the arms are just guiding, so this is not a glorified bicep curl, although heavy cleans will definitely build the guns, so you can always add that in. But on the dead clean, here's the basics. We're going to set up, elbows are connected to the ribs, get tight, and come on up. Okay, in a nice straight line. We're going to bring it right back down safely. Again, set up, elbow tight to the ribs, and then one more, okay? Notice how I'm positioned over the kettlebells. This is not going to work if they're in front of you. That's actually from the height position, and we're going to go over that, but for the dead clean, we need to be over the kettlebell. So again, set up, and then boom, set the hips, and then go from there. So after we perform the dead clean, we want to start practicing this. Apparently someone just called me and I had the do not disturb sign on, so I apologize for that. Anyways, we're going to continue on. So hike pass position is very, very important. So when we get into the hike pass, we have to play with the weight distribution and the weight shift. Okay? Here's our dead clean. Here's our setup. So look. We're going to get the kettlebells maybe 1.5 feet in front. And what I want to do is just set up, find your stance, and just play with the weight shift, okay? If our weight is too far forward into our toes, it's not going to work. Okay, it's going to pull us forward. So this happens when we set the kettlebells too far up in front of us. We get this, and we get rounding in the low back. So just one way we can eliminate some back issues is just honestly bringing those kettlebells close to us. So we're going to get set up. Everybody's position is going to be different, okay? So we're going to be here. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean the kettlebells toward me, and that's just going to allow me to get my lats to kind of come to the party. Now I'm just going to weight shift. You see that weight shift? My weight's forward here, not good. My weight's centered here, a little bit better, but we want the weight shift back. Once we get into this position, everything in the posterior chain can kind of load up, and that allows us to create sort of that slingshot effect, and that way we can come up with the clean. So you have to play with the weight shift. And even that drill alone, just the weight shifting drill, is going to allow your clients to feel that position, and it's going to allow them to feel everything wake up. So again, look, not good. Okay, now I'm centered a little bit, and now boom, everything's loaded up. Okay, from here, my first position is to hike it right up at my butt. Once we hike it right up at my butt, we absorb the swing, and we pop our hips, and again, elbows stay tight to the ribs. So we're going to be here. We're going to weight shift, set the hips. And then on the way back down, just control. All right, so again, look, weight shift, everything's locked in, spine stays the same. When you weight shift, it doesn't change your spine angle. It just allows you to distribute the load in different spots. So again, we're gonna set up, boom, weight shift, light everything up, and then place it back down. At first, you're definitely gonna kind of have some clinking, the bells are gonna hit a little bit, that's fine. Not a big deal, it's gonna take some time to groove it, but the beauty of this is we can clean it up. When you clean it up, boom, you catch into a plank, and then from there, we can do whatever you'd like. You can get into double kettlebell front squat, you can get into a reverse lunge, a walking lunge, a rack carry, but let's talk about the rack position just quickly. There's a lot of confusion on where the bell should land and what is the right position. And honestly, it depends on the person. So, for me, I like to have my elbows on the ribs, and it's pretty much right in front of me. It almost looks like a plank, okay? But for some people, if they bring their elbows too close together, it causes them to shrug, and they actually disconnect their lats. So for some people, this is gonna be a better position, okay? It really depends on the person. We may front squat in this position here. Boom, elbows are nice and tight. Okay, me, this is better for me. This allows me to zip up, and I feel much better in that position, okay? Again, some people might be here. It doesn't really matter, but what we're trying to go for here is having the forearm to be vertical, okay? The reasoning is because if we do decide to go overhead, I'm gonna move back a little bit, and we press, we've got a nice vertical forearm. If we decide to do a push press, we have a nice vertical forearm. So that's gonna allow us to, create more of a launching pad to go overhead. So guys, everyone's gonna be different in the rack position, okay? But I will say this, you want the elbows to stay tight to the ribs wherever you go. Guys that are really big and muscular, like myself, yeah, you can make a comment and joke about that. And women that tend to have bigger chests, they're not gonna be here, okay? It's not gonna be comfortable for them. So we wanna be in this position. And again, everyone's different. Just make sure that as you descend into any of those positions, try to maintain the rib cage position, okay? So what I see a lot is people dip down and boom, elbows fly up. So they do a lunge or they do a kettlebell front squat or whatever. And I just had a really big Boston accent right there, whatever. I didn't notice. And I haven't even had a beer yet. But anyways, so guys, those are the basics of the rack position and the double kettlebell clean. Very, very important. Start off with the dead clean, nail that down, and then go from there, and then play with that weight shift so you can allow everything to light up in that posterior chain, and then practice the full clean. If you guys like this, do me a favor, have a share, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.